Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another night here with AirgunwebTV Live. My name is Rick Utzler, and I will be walking you guys through. We've got some cool announcements. We're going to talk about the review I posted yesterday. We're going to be, the announcements were all of a sudden actually dropped in my lap like 10 minutes before the show here. I have some cool stuff to share with you guys. So I think hopefully we're going to have a real fun evening tonight. First things first, I want to say thank you to all of our viewers and those that continue to come up here and watch us, both on the lives and also in our videos. I mean, you guys are why we do it, and so thank you very much. I just wanted to say thank you for sure. Make sure we get that right off the top. The other thing is, just real quickly, these Tuesday nights, they're not technically sponsored in the sense of I don't have any sponsors that are saying, hey, Rick, we need you to do these live shows. I actually come up here and just do these because I like doing them. And I get to just talk about stuff that I want to talk about, share with you guys the things that are coming across my plate, what we've got coming up and otherwise. So, if that changes, we'll let you know. I mean, technically, we're going to be talking about products that are sponsored products, but as far as this specific show, this is just something I'm doing because I like to come up here and do it. So, that is pretty much where we're at this point. So again, I want to say thank you and welcome to everybody here for joining us tonight. First thing we're going to jump into is I just posted the review, at least the part one out of the box sort of shooting test of the new BARRA. I got to get with those guys to figure out how to say that. I'm going to say BARRA tonight. BARRA 1100Z. It comes in 2 calibers and 2 finishes. I've got the black. Angie's actually been working in the 177. She's got the veil camo. And her video coming up, I'll tell you a bit about what we got going on there because I think you guys will like what she's doing because I've already shot my second video. That'll be coming out probably next week, middle to end of next week. So we're going to be, we're going to be focusing on this, at least for the short term, because they're a brand new sponsor for GTA. And also, I think they have something unique to offer the airgun public. So especially at a really good price point. All right, so what you guys saw of the 1100Z 177, first of all, one of the topics we're going to talk about tonight, I hope to talk about tonight, so I'm going to throw it out there. We can sort of work our way around it and get to it eventually, and that is, what do you guys expect out of a $280 air gun? Do you expect $1,200 air gun performance, or do you have, what are your expectations? So I guess that's going to be my first question. I'm going to do a video. I have an Air Arms S510 stealth carbine, one of my favorite guns. It's in 177, classic wood stock, regulated. It's a $1,500, $1,600 gun. And I'm going to shoot it next to the BARRA. And I'm going to shoot it at 10 yards. Well, probably not 10 yards. Maybe 25, 35, 45, and 50, just so we can see where things, how they progress, and show you guys the difference between, say, a really, a higher end gun and, a budget gun. My opinion, the BARRA really fits a nice niche. It's well constructed. It shoots well. It's reliable. It only needs 3,000 PSI. I'll get to a little caveat on that here in a second. And it's a 25-yard, 30-yard backyard gun. That's what it is. It's not a 100-yard gun. It's not, I would not say buy the BARRA and go shoot field target. Not at all. I would not say that at all. So it has a lot of, I think, a lot of function in that backyard scenario. And I really like, from the backyard perspective, I really like the fact that they just gave us a 1/2 UNF at the end, and we can throw a regulator on there. And I'll tell you that I threw a 0 dB on it, and this will be in my next video coming up. It dropped 17 dB at the muzzle. So we went from like 110 down to 93. And that was impressive. I mean, that's like not insignificant. That's a hell of a lot quieter. And the fact that you just throw it on there, it doesn't have to be a 0 dB. It could be Donnie FL, could be any Neoclag, could be a TKO 22. Pick your moderator person, throw it on there, and now you've got a gun that is just really sweet for that backyard sort of plinking, target shooting. And I would certainly take it hunting, in the backyard squirrel hunting. I'd certainly do that in a heartbeat. So let me tell you what I learned with regards to, um, yeah, Daniel, I think you need to bring all your stuff out to see me because you're in Texas. Granted, Texas is a big state. You need to bring all your stuff out to see me, and we're gonna figure out why you keep, why your guns keep having to have issues. So, um, we'll figure it out. There's something environmental, I'm sure, going on with your situation. Um, but this is what I did. I noticed that in that video, didn't even put on a crony. We just talked about some of the basic features and then did some shooting. And I when I put it on a crony, I realized that we're doing almost 1,100 feet per second with eight fours. It's like 1060 or something like that, which is just way too fast. And the extreme spread from 3,000 to 1,200 or 1,500 was just way too big. So the first thing I did, and I think Angie's going to walk you guys through some of this because she's going through, realize that I kind of, and I know Angie's up here, so she's going to hear me admit this. And many of these things, Angie is not she didn't grow up with the air gunning like maybe you guys and I have. I mean, every air gun that I shot that I got back in 2009, 2010, every air gun was a puzzle because it was every air gun had its own unique thing or own unique trick or some sort of thing to make it produce the way you wanted it to. And part of the fun in shooting was figuring that out. Well, gosh, today with like the Avenger and the Gauntlet, and those are on the low end, but then you just go up from there. All these guns are regulated. They're CNC machine. They just out of the box. You don't have to clean the barrel. Just shoot them, and they're like giving you groups like that. I actually like that. I don't begrudge that at all. I go for boringly accurate. I like that type of, and I like that option. But I'll tell you that when you get an old school gun, which the BARRA is, it's an old school gun. It's unregulated. It's very well built, but look, you can hear it in the video. Everybody's talking about what's that weird sound? Well, that's called hammer bounce, and you hear it pretty dramatically in that gun. You go, brett, and that's what it does. It doesn't less now because I detuned it a bit and it got much better results. But anyway, yeah, she's never really been through that learning curve to sit down on a bench and shoot, 1,000 rounds to dial in a gun to find out, all right, this pressure and this many hammer spring turns and, she's really never had that. So some of these guns she's had to work with lately that have stretched poor little Angie. She's going to walk through some of that process with you guys. I hope it goes well. She's going to take her BARRA, whatever, and kind of walk through what pressure is the better pressure to run at. I think in my first video, the one I just posted, I think I might have mentioned that I expect 25 to 15 is probably going to be where you guys want to live. And sure enough, even from BARRA directly in their correspondence with Angie, they said, well, yeah, it's shooting too hot. And so if you're going to shoot pellets, let's fill it to 25, turn the hammer spring out a little bit, and you're going to see the gun do better. And I hope that that's the result that she's able to show you guys and kind of work through that. So you guys, if you're not part of that old school airgun group, the group that has done this forever, then, kind of understanding the dynamics of a gun like the BARRA or others that are unregulated, that you actually need to know the gun more. I think this will be a really good video. So hopefully, Angela, that works out well for you. I know that it took me a good bit of time, and I've shared with you what I learned, and I think the email from BARRA, whatever, has basically echoed what I figured out. I wish I'd gotten their email. It would have saved me a few hours, but that's all right. I did enjoy the process nonetheless and got a video out of it. So my next video, which will be 30-yard groups, I think I shot, I'm trying to remember, I shot several different pellets. And I definitely played with the hammer spring and worked out really how to, at least a good starting point for me to then do the next video with my gun is to really see if I can really fine tune it find the best pellet at the best pressure and settings to really get the best results out of it. But it is a 177. And so if I'm getting, sub-inch, maybe 3/4 inch groups at 30 yards, for me, I actually think that is reasonable in a sub $300 air gun. Now, if I had my Air Arms, which is a $1,500 air gun, I'm going to want a lot more out of that. And I bet you guys are going to have the same impression. If I've got, a $1,500 gun or a sub $300 gun, and I got them at the bench, you should see a difference between what you're getting, both in the experience and also the results on paper. It does not mean that the $300 gun or the sub $300 gun isn't worth getting. It has a place, especially if you don't have the money to spend on the $1,500 gun. Not everybody can do that. There's a lot of people that can't do that. So I'm super excited that I had that opportunity to shoot stuff like the Air Arms and other things, but not everybody has it. So we want to kind of show the difference. It also then gives people a little bit of a baseline of understanding that as you grow in the sport, you can expect more from things that cost more, and frankly, you should expect more. Yeah, the Air 17. Yes, if you're talking about Joshua, are you talking about the multi, or it was a single pump? If it's the one I'm thinking of, it was a single pump. I lived in Vermont, actually had that gun, and it was awesome. I fell down walking at the creek and snapped the stock and broke it, could never get it fixed. But if that's the same one I'm thinking about, yeah, that was a really, really fun gun. Let's see. Just checking a few of these comments. Yeah, Joshua, I think you got the right idea. I mean, I've got a couple videos coming out. I've got the next one in the BARRA, which I think you're right. It is a good entry-level gun. I think when you grab it and feel it, it feels more substantial than other entry-level guns in the sense of the stock's very nice. The cocking lever is very nice. You could compare it, say, to a Beeman Commander or one of those guns. It's much nicer than those guns, in my opinion. It's very, very similar, if not the same gun. Although I think BARRA has some of the internals and the way they've done things is definitely different. But it's functionally very, very similar. Anyway, I think it's going to help people want to get into the PCP world. And the fact that optimally, if you're shooting pellets, you only need 2,500 PSI. Well, gosh, that just makes it that much easier to fill and shoot. If you're using a hand pump, it's much less work. If you're using a 3,000 PSI scuba tank, you're going to get a lot of refills, that tiny little cylinder on aluminum. Maybe I should just do that. Maybe I should do a video with an old school aluminum tank and why guns like the BARRA or any of these guns that are 2,000 or 2,500 operational pressure really work well if you've got just a scuba tank, because I probably will do that. So there's two videos I'm going to owe you guys now. One is the Air Arms and the BARRA, and just so you guys can see the difference. And the other is why these guns that are the entry-level guns really make it a lot easier for folks to get into the PCP market. First of all, if you've got a 3,000 PSI aluminum tank, I know this is going to sound silly, but you don't have to fill it to 4,500, right? So your compressors are going to last a heck of a lot longer. You're going to get a ton more fills. You have this huge volume going to this tiny cylinder, and you're at 3,000. The cylinder only needs 2,500. You guys get the idea. Why that's important is I can't tell you how many times I've talked to people who buy a scuba tank, even if it was a 3,000, say they got a Marauder, they bought a scuba tank, and they filled their Marauder, say, twice. And now they're saying, well, I can't fill my Marauder up. It's not filling up all the way. Yeah, well, what's the pressure in your tank? Well, I've got, it's a big tank. It has nothing to do with the size of the tank, man. How much pressure you got in your tank? But you don't understand, I just filled it up and I can't get the full pressure. Well, okay. How much pressure you got in your tank? Well, I got 2,700 in my tank. And how much are you getting in your gun? Well, 2,700. Yeah, because when you connect the two and open the tank, they're just going to equalize. You're not going to put more air in the gun than you got in your tank. And so just, I did it. I did that same mistake. So I'm intimately familiar with how that mindset thinks. I got this big bottle. It should fill this little tiny gun. No, it's only ever going to equalize. So whenever you have a vessel you're going to use to fill your PCP, you want more pressure in the vessel than you're filling to. So as guns go to 250 bar, 300 bar, 310 bar, what's the big challenge on the hammer? well, filling it to 4,500 because you don't have a vessel that can fill it to 4,500. You can get close, but then you got to have a compressor to top it up to that 4,500. And that, chasing that high pressure to get the high power, that's why all these personal compressors are so critical. And that's also why they get wore out, because everybody's pushing them to 4,000 to 4,500 all the time, which is the area that you are making them work the hardest. That's the only time you ever use them, is just like pushing them right to 9,000 RPM and wondering why you need to change the oil all the time. Anyway, let's see if we got some any update on the compressor testing. I knew somebody was going to ask me that. Okay, yes, I have an update. It's not bad news. It's bad news for my wallet, not bad news for you guys. And I've got to reach out to Tuxing on this as well. The amp draw on that unit, my inverter at my range can't handle it. The other compressors I've tested and run, I barely am able to, once you get them started, they're fine. But that lock rotor amps, to get them to turn over to start, I got a 3,000 watt heavy duty commercial grade inverter, will not kick it over. So I've in the process, hopefully by this time next month, my hope is maybe 5 weeks from now, I should have a new 5,000 watt inverter installed at the range, because we run solar there. We don't have shore power. I should have 5,000 watt inverter, and I should have double the battery capacity if everything works out like I hope. Because that's a major upgrade. It's about two and a half years old, that system. And while everything's working great, I would love to be able to run that compressor without having to fire up my generator. Sorry, my nose itches like crazy, so pollen is like nuts right now. Anyway, pollen and dust. But I'm hoping to be able to do that. If for some reason there's a delay, I'm going to go ahead and do at least my first video, and I'll just run the generator to get that done. But as far as extended testing, like I've been wanting to do with it, I need a way to power it without having to run my generator, so I got to do some upgrades, which I need to do anyway. So that's the update on that compressor. Hopefully that helps. Let's see. Any other questions? Yeah, I like that, Joshua. My suggestion to folks nearly exclusively is skip the tank. Just skip the tank, go with the compressor. I am absolutely with you, for sure. All right. Okay. So, on the next video I'm going to be doing with the BARRA, like I said, I did work on the hammer spring. I got the velocity down to just under 1,000 feet per second. We're shooting multiple different pellets, and it's interesting results. We had some weather conditions. I haven't settled that I've found the perfect fit yet. The next video I've got coming out is going to be a Gamo video, another video on the arrow. And everybody wanted to know what was happening with the arrow. Can it shoot 50 yards? Well, it can. Maybe not accurately, though. I mean, I can hit stuff, but trying to hit like hunting accuracy at 50 yards, it's really going to depend on the conditions and the right pellet and the person behind the trigger. I'm not necessarily always the best or ever the best person behind the trigger. I do the best I can, and I think I give you guys a reasonable expectation of what you can expect. I have a question for you guys. I've had a few comments of late, and I might have ranted a little bit on the Gamo video on this very topic, so you're going to hear it again, I guess. I've had some comments come in. They were, let's say, critical of the results that I've been showing for some accuracy tests. That's a pleasant way nice way of saying they told me I suck. Okay, but it's fine. I've been doing this a long time. Very thick skin. It does not. I take no offense by that. I do find it funny. And my question is, when you're watching a sporting goods show or a sporting show, say you're watching a fishing show, and they're talking to you about this lure, and they've got this lure and they're fishing. And what do you guys see on the show, right? Do you see the 14 hours they spent casting, or do you see the 20 minutes they spent catching fish? You see, that's a wonderful world of editing, right? So you don't really see all the time that goes into maybe not success. All they really show you is the success. Now, when I first started out, I would shoot a bunch of shot cards, and on my video, I would show the best card. And sometimes it wasn't like this one was here, this one was here, this one was here. Sometimes this one was here, and the others were here. And I didn't know better at the time. And as I've started to get older, as you guys see, losing my hair, getting gray. As I've gotten older and really, frankly, maybe lazy, I don't know, maybe that plays into it a bit. I want to be real and show you the real results that you can expect to get out of a product, not a one-off out of 100 results you're going to get out of a product. So the way I've been doing my videos, at least since I really kind of been doing this for a couple years now, where I'm really just putting the target up, filming it. You guys get what I get. If it's not, I'm not shooting 15 targets and showing you guys the absolute best. I'm shooting a target, and you're seeing what I get. And I know that's what I've told Angie to do too, because it's very easy, I think. And I'm not saying that people are purposely deceptive, not at all. But it's easy to just only show the absolute best. But if you read, like I get the NRA magazine, American Rifleman, whatever, and when you look at their reviews, they show you the best and they show you the worst, and they give you the average, right? So they're kind of giving you the spread of what they got during their testing. I've got this video coming up with the Arrow, and at 50 yards, it's really got some ugly results. I wish I could say we had great. It's not great. It's ugly. But some of them weren't terrible. Some of them were actually, I would say, with the right, a scope adjustment and some more time at the bench in the right conditions, would be pretty good. But I actually showed 4 shot groups with each pellet we were shooting to show just the progression of how the gun operates, and so that you guys have an idea of what you can really expect out of it, right? So, and I did that with the BARRA. I've done that with all the guns I've been reviewing over the last few years now. I've just been focusing on these are the results I'm getting. I'm not trying to give you the best case scenario, not the worst case scenario. I'm just this is what I got. I put the target up, put the camera up. You're seeing what I got. Here's what I got. There you go. If this is what you guys think is awesome, great. If not, that's cool too. You don't have to like it. That's all right. I think a good example of this, I just posted a video of the, this was funny, and I'm watching the comments go up and down, the Daystate Red Wolf. Now, if you've ever shot a Red Wolf, you know that it is an exquisite airgun. It's like one of the nicest airguns you'll ever fire. It's just exquisite. Now, am I the best shot with the Red Wolf? No. I'm sure the guys that compete with him would really show you how they shoot. I did a video, just a demo of my gun I built for a customer of mine, or I worked with and got it ready for him. And, I didn't show dime-sized groups at 50 yards. I showed what I got. And I was pretty pleased for never having used the gun and having about an hour to do the video, and that's what I got. Just a real at the bench, here you go. I think that's just honest. It's just honest. And of course, the FX boys were, that's why FX is better. We can shoot dime groups. And look, yeah, I'm sure enough time I can shoot dime groups with that gun too. But it doesn't mean that every group I'm ever going to shoot's a dime group. I'm sure there's going to be times when I don't shoot a dime group. And that's okay. Really. If you like it, awesome. But don't negate the entire rest of the universe because you're tunnel vision myopically so on one particular brand. That's just not smart. Okay, so let's see. Carlos, I don't know what the Snow Peak PP 750 is. If you maybe put a link in or something, I'll take a look at it. I know Snow Peak is a Chinese maker that a lot of manufacturers are using to build like the Avenger. At least that's where it started, in the Aspen and these other things. So I know it's a brand that is companies are using to contract with to build guns for them. So that's about all I know. So when you guys get a chance to see this next Gamo video, I did it purely because I had folks asking about 50-yard accuracy. Yeah, I'm with you, G-Man. It's funny. People are people, man. People are so people. There's some, and I'm not going to name the brand, but it was so funny. Forgive me on this if I offend somebody, but it's my show, so I don't really care right now. But there's one particular brand. I'm not going to name the brand, but it was, it was expensive to start, and out of the box wasn't like great. So you'd spend at least again what you spent on the gun to get the gun shooting what you could have spent, I don't know, maybe $100 extra at the beginning on a different gun to have the results. But man, once you're a couple $1,000s in, you sort of have to like it. If you don't like it after spending all that money, you sort of look like a dum-dum. So it's funny, people get so tied into a particular thing, and for the sake of ego, pride, whatever, they can't just say, yeah, that may have been a bad idea. I've got lots of bad ideas I can tell you guys about. I have a whole lifetime of learning experiences of what bad ideas bring us. So that's pretty funny. But they have there's that one particular brand that maybe it's not as bad now as it was, say, 8 years ago. But yeah, it still go back. It's funny. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, thank you guys for saying what you're saying. I mean, my goal is to just be real. I mean, that was always real world airgun reviews is what I wanted to do, and there was a time where I had some requests from sponsors that wanted me to do things a certain way, and I did them that way as best as I could. This last couple of years, I basically said no. If that's what you want, I'm not going to be your guy. I just can't keep going that way because I just watched the channel not do well. And seeing the channel start to do better, and I think it's doing better because I'm just being me. And if it's 20 minutes on a bench, then you got to look at my ugly mug for 20 minutes. So it stinks to be you, I guess. But anyway, so that Gamo video is probably gonna be a long one because we did a lot of shooting. I hope you guys appreciate that. And then we're actually going to do the next one on the Gamo. We're going to shoot it with open sights. We'll bring it into what I feel is a reasonable distance, and I'm thinking 35 yards. And at 35 yards, that thing should be a tack driving machine. I think it'll be a lot of air gun for folks at $220, something like that, street price. Man, it's gonna be a hard gun to beat, and it's made in Spain. Excuse me. I had some folks ask me where was it made. It says made in Spain, so I'm guessing Gamo's putting these things together. So, and on the Gamo front, all right. I asked last time I met with them, which was back in August. I went on the iguana hunt. I said, guys, I love the Magnum. I mean, if anyone here has shot the Gamo Magnum, it is a great shooting air gun. It is impressive. It's got more power it's got about the same power as the BARRA in 177. But I mean, it's got more power than Gamo's Arrow, which is a PCP, where we've got nearly 30 plus foot-pounds in a brake barrel. So, and that's in 22. And I told him, I said, you guys, this power plant, this cylinder diameter, you're leaving potential on the table. You need to take this to a 25 cal. And I'd like to show you something. Let's just see here. Guess what just got announced? Yes. Gamo, I don't know. I'm not going to say they did it because I said so, but I did talk to a guy who runs this website for them and say, you need to get the Gamo Magnum in 25. Now, this is an exclusive and I will be getting one of these guns. I don't know exactly when, but it will be soon. Maybe first of next month, I'm thinking. So maybe in 3 weeks. By the way, I'm going to be going to the Daisy Nationals, which is they haven't had it for a couple of years, but it's their national championship for all of their shooting teams for all of the country. So I'm going to be covering that for them again. So I'm super excited. I might be able to pick one of these up there. They may be showing this gun off. But this thing, I have no idea what it's going to do in 25. But I am pretty excited to see another 25 cal Gamo Springer in the mix again. And if this goes well, I'm really hoping that they make a 25 cal Swarm. Like if they did like a Gen 2 Magnum Swarm in 25, man, I mean, now you're talking about probably 30 plus foot-pounds, 50-yard accuracy all day. I am like, ooh. Anyway, so not available yet. I should have one coming. I was talking to the gentleman just for the show. This is one of those things that hit. The other thing I want to show you guys, and I have one of these coming, and if they don't send me one, I'm just going to buy it because I have desperately wanted one of these things. This is another exclusive. It is this guy right here. I don't know if you guys if you guys remember the Hunter Extreme. This was that 1,500 feet per second. It's killing a pig with a 177. Unfortunately, that video was bad. I wish it hadn't been. But if you remember the Gamo Hunter Extreme, that gun got me super excited about brake barrels. And I actually have an original Hunter Extreme made in the UK in 177, 22, and 25. I have a whole set that is just a really nice set of air guns. But they brought it back in like a flavor of the Extreme. But here we go, Woodstock. It's probably, man, they probably use a plastic breech again. But anyway, the GR is holding up well, so I'm just going to assume it's fine. But here, this gun, look at that. It's going to be like the old Hunter Extreme stock, like a solid, man, I'm looking forward. I'm supposed to be getting one of these two. So if I can get these two guns, I mean, those are going to be some kick butt guns if they shoot anywhere near like what I remember. I've got to get back to Lake Havasu and pick my stuff up because that's where I'll still have a storage room full of things over there. I haven't moved out to Texas yet, but that's where my set of my Hunter Extremes are sitting. So I was pretty excited that we've got these right around the corner right here. Pretty excited to see this come around the corner. So now let's see. Yes, I actually think. Okay, G-Man, quick. Let's see if I can get some of these questions here. Yeah, Donald, if you had a spring put in, yeah, I think that's a better option than the gas rim. I like a spring better personally. At least you can tune it. Some other questions here. What's your opinion of Seneca Aspen? Do you think they'll ever bring that up to 30 or 357? The Seneca Aspen would be underpowered in 30 and can woefully underpowered in 357. Could they do a 30? I don't know. I think 25 is a really good caliber for that. And I really like the Aspen. I need to do more work with it. I have one, might have two. I think I have a 22 and a 25 back in the Connex. So I need to get that gun out again because I think people are getting more interested in that self-sufficient sort of, excuse me, my nose daggum again. Anyway. G-Man, as far as Gamo and the Picatinny rail, yeah, you ain't kidding. I agree. Let's see. G-Man's asking about the 3i. I think your big difference is going to be in the magazine. Now, I will confirm that when I see them in a couple weeks. But I really don't think they're doing anything to the gun. I think all of the innovation, they're working on that inertia magazine to make it more reliable for all power plants so that you don't need to adjust the Magnum to cycle it. I think that's the big thing. And I might be all wrong because that's what I heard when I talked to him before. If there's other things, I'm just unaware of it. So we'll see how that If there's anything else, I'll be sure to bring it with you. All right, Bob, I'll get to your question here in a minute. Donald, yeah, I've had mod 125 snipers. Little tip for those that don't know it: when Hatsan first started in the U.S., they had a few issues with some quality control. And the owner, Hatsan Blaine, I hope you're doing well, man. I think you guys are still making some good products. I wish we had a better relationship, but you know, it is what it is. If you ever watch these and ever catch it, just know that I'm still on your side, and I wish we could work together again. That beside the point, I actually had the owner. Saul came out to see me in Lake Havasu. We took some of the guns apart, and I showed him that the things that he was hearing about were not just picky enthusiasts, that there were legitimate issues. And for about 14 months, I ran the entire service department for Hatsan out of Lake Havasu City, repairing all the guns, handling all the RMAs, dealing with all the customers, answering the phone. I was really their one-man service department until they got their service department up and going, and I could turn it over to them and sort of move on to the next project. So I'm intimately familiar with at least a certain generation of Hatsan guns, probably going up to about the Galatian, and right at when they had their it was, I think they just come out with like their first semi-auto, and then it was after that our relationship we went different directions. I'm still more than willing and still very interested to have a relationship with Hatsan, because I think they make some good products, and I miss talking about them. So anyway, I'm very familiar with the 125. That 125 line was just a solid performing line. I preferred it in a Springer to a gas ram personally. Same thing with the 135. I prefer it in a Springer to a gas ram, because boy, did I ever take apart and tune a ton of those 125s. And boy, once I tuned them and did a little bit of secret sauce stuff that I was doing to them, man, they were sweet shooting air guns. They were awesome. Anyway, Heath, I need to get myself a gunner in 22. I love the 25. I don't know why I like it so much, because there are guns that perform better both in accuracy and power. I just really like that air gun. Sort of like my love affair for the Maxima Thor. Not the most powerful, not the most accurate, but whatever it is about that gun, man, maybe because it's German and I'm half German. I don't know. But that Maxima Thor was just really good. Best PCP for $1,000, Bob. If you can, we got a bit of a delay. So, what are you doing with it? Are you target shooting? Are you hunting? If you're hunting, what are you hunting? Et cetera, et cetera. So let me know a little more details, because that $1,000, we could be spent so many different ways. And knowing what you're doing is going to really help give you some advice there. Let's see. Gauntlet 2, 25 or 30. Oh my gosh. Razor. If you are doing any hunting, get the Gauntlet 2 and 30 caliber. That thing will absolutely rock whatever you're trying to hunt. It's going to do it. I mean, 100 plus foot-pounds all day, and it shoots the FX slugs better than pellets. Yeah, that is a beast of an air gun. I've got to get down to the range. I owe Umrex more Gauntlet work, Origin work, the rain. I got to get the Walther Rain out and going again. So I've got just a mountain of projects for a bunch of companies. I've just filmed a bunch last week, and I've got more ready to go this week. Gosh, it was 114 the other day. Was not filming that other day, but I will get out and do some more filming. But I've got the Gauntlet 22, G2 22, G2 25, and G2 30, and I would like to do like a whole series on those guns, on what their best use case is, because they're all exceptionally good guns. I mean, they all shoot really well, and they all put lead downrange with authority and really good shot count. So I'm looking forward to doing that and getting out there and shooting those again. But the 30 cal would be my choice all day. The 25 is great, but man, when you can go 100 plus foot-pounds, even if I'm hunting jackrabbits or squirrels, man, Angie, she's still up here. Angie, can you imagine lining up on a squirrel with like a 30 cal polymag or something. I mean, come on now. That would be just awesome. Anyway, so Bob, if you're going to be target shooting 80% of the time, I'm guessing you're probably 50 to 100 yards. For $1,000, man, can you go a little bit higher? Maybe just a wee bit higher on the price point, because I'd really like to see you get into like an entry level Air Arms S510 SX. It's classic, extremely reliable, really good target shooting gun, and is a very good hunting gun too. If you need a ton of power, then maybe look at FX. I think you can get an FX in that $1,200, $1,300 price point. But if you've got $1,000 to spend, I hope you have $1,200, because if you can just go a little bit more, your options really open up. The Catron at $1,200 is a really nice gun. Again, I guess I should ask, do you want, are you looking at a particular caliber? Are you looking at a particular, any specific range? Like I got to shoot 150 yards or something like that. Or do you like traditional or black gun? You know, all of those things come into play. And I mean, there's certain brands that you can buy and just buy and you're good to go. If you buy Daystate, you're going to be happy. If you buy Brocock, you're going to be happy, probably. Either one of those. Air Arms, good guns. BSA, great guns. Well, Air Arms, great. BSA, great. Flare, forgive me. There's just, when you get to that price point, they're all good. Just what feature set do you want? What do you want it to look like? If you're way under 1,000, you know, that's when things start to get a little different. So like between the 400 to 800, 400 to 1,000, you've got the whole line of Avenger guns, which are all really good. I prefer the Woodstock. I just think it shoots better. I like the Bullpup too. So the Bullpup or the Woodstock, I'm not a fan of the original synthetic, just me personally. They changed the composition when they went to the Bullpup, and it's noticeably better of the stock. And if I'm wrong, I'm sure Tyler will say. But boy, if I'm wrong, I'd be shocked, because it sure feels different. Then you have the Origin, which is super affordable but ridiculously good shooting gun. Then you have the Gauntlets. The G2s are phenomenal. The Benjamin line, the Kratos, the Gunner at $1,000 may be the right choice, actually. And I think that's what Heath was alluding to, because you get that in 22 or 25, you can tune it up a little bit, and that may be the ticket, really, if you don't mind black guns. But gosh, you can suppress it. It's regulated, big cylinder, only needs 3,000 psi, but you got a lot of volume. Great trigger. That may be a really good fit, and it's right at $1,000. So that would certainly got to look at that. That would be a really good gun to look at. I love it. I absolutely love that gun. After the Gauntlet, what do you got? You've got the Benjamin guns, the Kratos, the Akela, and the Caden. You have all the line of Hatsans, which I just don't have a lot of experience with over the last 4 years or so, 5 years. I haven't really done much with them. Let's see. Yeah, you start hitting that. I mean, I've got some Evanex guns that I think are really nice, but they're over 1,000. Yeah, I mean, the lower end, I think you have more variations in aesthetics, function, power, accuracy. You're gonna have more variations. You get to $1,000 and up, you look at FX, Daystate, Air Arms, BSA, whatever, Ottoman, Catron, Air Max, excuse me. You start looking at those guns, they all shoot good. I mean, they all just really shoot good. So, I mean, people are going to have their favorites, and then they're fanboy or fangirl over them, but they all shoot good. You start spending $1,000 or more, you're going to get a good airgun. You're probably going to get a good airgun. So, all right. AEA, yeah, I don't have any experience with AEA. What I have It's a decent gun. I just have zero experience with that brand other than I have a 22 cal Challenger unregulated that I traded for Brian. And it's a decent shooting gun, but I don't know anything about any of their other stuff. I know how they treated me. And if they build their guns like they treated me, I don't want to own one. So that's just between me and them, I guess. Let's see. Yeah, let's see. Just going down these questions here. David, you just bought the Air Arms from Ben. That if it's the 25 cal Ultimate Sporter, I know that gun. It's a nice gun. Let's see. Is the Gauntlet 230 able to take down coyotes? Oh my gosh, yes. 100 yards easy. Easy. It's putting out more power than my the 25 cal Hubin, which I have rigged up with an ATN optic. That's my coyote gun. And I have it because it's compact, semi-auto, really sweet gun, shooting slugs at 85 foot-pounds. No, the Gauntlet will easily do 100 yards all day, and it gets there in such a hurry. You'd have a lot of confidence at 100 yards with the G2 and 30 cal, no problem. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, G-Man's right. The JTS is a whole other line of guns. And, gosh, DAR is another line of guns. And we've got BARRA, which is at the lower end. I mean, there's... If I go back when I was looking at PCP guns at the beginning, for me, it must have been 2008, 9. I had a choice between the Benjamin Discovery, which I bought, and a Marauder, which I bought. That was it. I mean, other than big bore stuff, which I was not into big bore guns then. So now you look out there, and not only are they way cheaper, way more reliable, way more powerful, and way more accurate, there's just a whole mess of them. I mean, it's pretty cool, which we have. We just now when I say, man, it's a great time to be an air gunner, I am not kidding. It is. If you like shooting and you like shooting air guns, man, it's a good time to get into the sport. There's just so many good options. It's hard to throw a rock and not hit a good option. Is it the best option? Best for who? I mean, I like wood stock guns, so I prefer a gun in a wood stock. Doesn't mean if I'm shooting one in a synthetic stock, it's crap. It just means I have a preference for wood stock guns. Somebody else may like a chassis gun, or somebody else may like a bullpup, or who cares? I mean, gosh, man, I just did that video on the Beeman at what, $280 for a bullpup that shoots really, really well. I've got a video. I'm going to do another video of that one with a good scope on it. See if we can get some 50-yard groups out of her. Yeah, I mean, there's just try and throw a rock now and not hit a decent air gun for under $500. There's a bunch of them out there. They all have something to offer the market. Let's see. Yeah, Ivan. Yeah, I've told the story many times with AA, and it's not unrecoverable. I would be willing to talk to them again, but they just was laughable what they suggested. I just had to chuckle. Anyway, did you do the 25 Gauntlet? Yeah. I have I've got some videos of the 25 Gauntlet. I've got well, the original Gauntlet, Ben and I did we did a Prey Dog hunt with it many, many years ago when it first came out. And then at Airgun Pro Shop, we worked with Ninja to come up with this is, then Umrex just did it, which they were smart to do. We took a large bottle, 22 cubic inch bottle, put a regular at higher pressure rig, and we created the Gauntlet High Power, which was, almost 60 foot-pounds and more as many shots as the stock. But, it's just something we did at the Pro Shop. And, man, the 25 cal Gauntlet ain't no joke. It's a nice gun, too. So that is that's sort of that. Getting back to the question, maybe you guys forgot it, but I'll throw it out there again. Because if you look at some of the comments on the BARRA video that I did just posted, and we're not getting dime groups. We're not, those 25 yards, we're not getting dime groups. If I shot my air arms, we get dime groups. We get like, cluster hole type groups. One's 1500, one's 300 or sub 300. Personally, I think that's perfectly acceptable for the price point, for the feature set, for what it brings to the table at that price point, and used within its guidelines. I think it's a really good option. But I'm curious as to, what do you guys think? Do you think that every air gun that comes out should be able to hit that, $1,500 plus performance level? Or do you also see that there is a, it's sub $300. That's actually pretty good for that gun. Which opinion do you have? Because it seems from many of the comments that I get that more and more people expect a sub $300 gun to shoot like a $1,500 gun. And if it doesn't, they tend to want to throw it under the bus. I think that's short-sighted and unfortunate. And I'm curious as to what you guys think about that as well. We've got just a few minutes left here, so see if I can finish up a few questions here. Yeah, David, I'm glad you had a good time with the field target. That's a sport that I don't know if I have the discipline for it. Yeah, Bob, I'm glad you like your Avenger. The Avenger is a game changer air gun. I mean, it was still is a bit, because in the same way the Marauder became like the measure of affordable, tunable, quiet, accurate, and powerful, the Avengers sort of become that at a much lower price point. The Avengers, what, $350 now or $400 or something? It's cheap. I mean, it's affordable. But man, what you can do with that gun, it's easy to work on too. So if you have to rebuild it, it's not the end of the world. It's a really decent air gun for not a lot of money. And now, gosh, we have compressors. By the way, real quick, do you guys care to know that little battery power compressor still going strong, man? I used that over for the last 2 shooting sessions. I didn't even charge the batteries in between. I just take it out to the range and it tops my guns off while I go hang a new target or whatever. Really, really awesome little compressor for less than $600. It's been working really well. I love it. Let's see. Diana's PCP pistols, I don't know. I think there was definitely some management changes with Diana as a brand, so I'm not quite sure what's up with that. What would be a good reg for a Hatsan 30 cal Hatsan Bully? That I don't know. I think, who's making regs? Alterus, Lane. I don't know. Hatsan made their own regs for a while. I just don't know. I don't know enough about the Bully or those guns these days to give you good advice on that. Bob, I agree. The Avenger made it hard to accept some of the lower end PCPs. And as much as I like the BARRA, they are competing with the Avenger for the Avenger's a little bit more. Now, one thing I was thinking about just before the show with the BARRA, what they have done is they've given you all the pieces where you don't have to buy anything extra. Let me explain. So if you want to make the Avenger quieter, you're going to spend how much for an adapter and then the moderator? So while the gun may be $340, you're going to spend whatever the cost of the adapters is, $60, something like that. And then the moderator, at least with the BARRA, they just put 1/2 N, 1/2 UNF on the end of it with a curl, with a nut. So it saves you that. You can put whatever moderator on it. You're not having to spend twice to get the kind of, modification you want. So I think that's value. But the fact that it's not regulated, the fact that doesn't have the power. I don't know, man. I think if they really fine tune the platform, and I have some ideas of how they can get some more consistency out of her. Um, I want to do a little testing and talk to their engineers a little bit. May not be a big deal to get a little more consistency out of that. Make it a little bit flatter and more shots, flatter curve. Um, anyway, we'll see. They do go up against the Avenger and the Gauntlet, excuse me, and the Origin. They are at a lower price point by an amount, wherever you get them. They are cheaper, more affordable, but we'll see. And then we can't forget JTS, which is going to be right there. I mean, right at that 320 for the Arracuda, and then you have the Arracuda Max at 4 and some change. So, gosh, it's there's so many really good air guns down there at that price point. All right, let's see. What's the fix for the hammer bounce in the BARRA? Angie, I found, and I think we'll hear a difference. Yeah, G-Man, I'm right with you. Quarter size groups of 25 yards in. I would actually want a little bit better if there's no wind, but if I can do nickel to quarter at 25 yards, I'm happy. West Hunter review. Good question. I did finally get a replacement scope. I have not used it yet. We'll see. When I sent the scope in, I sent everything. I didn't get the mounts back. So it's been a little bit of a up and down roller coaster with that whole thing. Several $100s that I just haven't been able to leverage because I bought them myself. And hopefully I can make use of this and show you guys, or at least tell you guys about how they work for me. So I haven't gotten that done yet. Yeah, the Arracuda 25 is going to be a great gun. The Arracuda Max. I haven't shot the Arracuda in 25, but the Arracuda Max is going to be great. Yeah, Dave, I got to roll too, guys. So good night, David. Good night, everybody else. Gosh, I say it, and I know I've used it as a tagline. It's a great time being an air gunner, man. We got compressors now that are like affordable, that fill our guns easily. We've got guns that are not breaking the bank. You don't have to spend $1,500 to shoot better than inch all day at 50 yards. I mean, it is just, you can go hunting now. You can buy, gosh, what's the hammer run? $900 or less? And you're talking about a 700 foot-pound multi-shot big bore that Angie's killing stuff left, right, and center with. Holy moly. I mean, gosh. I mean, we are sitting at a time where it's really a good time to be an air gunner, guys. But that's going to be it for now. We've yacked enough. Hopefully that's been a good show and you guys learned something. I'm super excited about the new Gamo guns coming out. We're going to be doing a giveaway, by the way. I'm probably going to start it. Maybe we'll start July and run it through the end of July. We've got some 0 dB moderators to give away. We've got that original Gamo GR that Angie did the video on that we're going to give away. We've got some stuff with the GTA we're going to be doing. So as I wrap this up, please go visit gatewaytoairguns.org. If you're not a member, please sign up. If you guys are so inclined to say thank you to the folks that you see up here that we talk about, drop them a line saying, hey, we saw your product on Rick's show. Thanks for supporting him. That's really helpful. Anything you guys can do that way is really good. Just watching it is great. Liking, subscribing, all that stuff is super helpful, and I appreciate it. Want to shout out to Angie. If you guys haven't been following her work, she's been putting in a lot of work for Gateway Airguns, guys. We've been republishing those videos here at AirgunWeb to kind of give the GTA grip program a boost. We may change that dynamic at some point in time. But nonetheless, I mean, we want as many eyeballs as possible to see, this kind of really cool content. She just published a video today over on Gateway Airguns. It's the Gamo Fusion, Gamo Swarm Fusion Gen, a really, really great air gun. And she got one of the original ones like I did. And I did a video, guys, talking about the new one being like more awesome, and it's better. It just, I don't know what happened from like that very first one I got to what I got now recently. It's better. And she did a very nice video on that. So, and these are just, again, real world. You get what you're seeing what we get. We ain't sugarcoating or polishing anything here. We're just kind of giving you what we got. And hopefully you guys appreciate that. That's where we're putting our energy right now. So that's going to be it. That's going to be it for now. Let's see. Let's see here. That's it for now. No more questions. Yeah. You guys have a great rest of your week, and we hope to see you again next week. And I believe I don't think I'm going to miss a show. If for some reason I'm on the road or something, or I don't get back in time, I'll put up a notice like I did last week for my sister's birthday. Thank you guys for giving me the night off. I had a good time hanging out with her. All right, guys, that's going to be it. My name is Rick Utzer here with AirgunWeb. Thanks for watching.